internet's been a big thing for us, and we've been a band. Honestly, you just can't give up on yourselves. We've been a band for 3 years, went through 10 drummers until we found the perfect fit right here. And that's Chris.
He's our 10th drummer.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just keep plugging away. And I really believe that, like, don't go out. I was in so many bands when I was a kid growing up where I would listen to a record, and I really liked the Academies, and I really liked Fall Green. I would listen to them and be like, okay, we gotta write a song like that. And once you stop trying to write songs like other people, and not to sound cheesy, but like when you dig inside yourself, that's when the best stuff comes out. And I really believe that. Like, honestly, I think these songs have like been pulled right out of our veins by a needle and injected in the music.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Like, just from the time, like, and you know, we've always pretty much wrote original stuff as we can. Like, we didn't try and sound like anybody, even though a couple of our songs come out sounding like Third Eye Blind or The Fray or something, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
I love them.
But you know, I guess yeah, the key is just, you know, find a tight fit and a right fit, and just write and write and write and write, and eventually you're gonna get a product that is not necessarily successful maybe right away, but you know, as like he said, sticking with it, man. Just gotta stick with it all the way.
I don't want to give too lengthy of an answer for you, so you can cut this out. But you know, I was in another band a really long time ago, and we wrote music, and I wrote stuff that was not me. And when we go and play it live, I hated it. And when I listen to a record, I'm like, this isn't. I hate it. It's not me. And this record, and it sounds vain, and I don't mean it to come off vain, but I could fall asleep to it because it's so true, and I really like that about it, you know. I don't think you need a record label.
Not nowadays. I don't think.
I think Radiohead proved that.
Yeah.
I think.
And Nine Inch Nails, and 1,000 other bands out. Death Cab for Cutie. I mean, they had a record label, but they
previous.
Yeah, but you know, they toured for what, 10 years, without any kind of funded themselves, and a lot of other bands out there like that just you don't need it, man. Yeah. As long as, I mean, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of startup capital. It's going to take a little bit of money to start out with, but if you got that and you have a good product, eventually, you know, you're totally, especially with the internet, totally able to push yourself.
A record label is kind of like a marriage, you know? I mean, you can marry anyone. Like, my last girlfriend, if I would have married her, I gotta tell you, I would have a miserable life right now. But, you know, you could be involved with a record label, and you could treat each other terribly. And if you find a record label out there that really loves your music, that's awesome. But it's like, it's so rare, and people are always getting shifted around, and one guy really likes your music, and you get signed to a record label, and all of a sudden, I don't know, that guy, all of a sudden a guy comes up like above him, and he gets fired, and all of a sudden the guy that was pushing your band doesn't work there anymore. And that's a scary thought, you know? That's why we all rely on each other, because we're a family. And the less we have to rely on somebody else to push us, the better we think. Until we find the right fit.
Uptown Recording. Yeah, and our producer Rob is unbelievable.
Robert did a great job.
Great job. And he's like our friend. He's been unbelievable on the record. We think so.
I don't like our friend.
He is our friend. He's one of our great friends, and we think the record came out great. He did a great job. Because you're the one who out of the blue said it.
You know, that's something that's been stuck in my head for a really long time, and it's got a bunch of different meanings. You know, sometimes I kind of go on some, I used to, and sometimes still do, go on some drinking binges, where it's basically, you know, like when I'm in a bad place, in a bad state of mind, and I can catch myself falling into, like, ruts that I don't want to be in. And it's kind of like that feeling where, it's kind of like in that Queens Boulevard song that we have where it goes, last lyrics in the song go, right now, your voice would shut me down, so shut me down. Like, you want to call someone so bad, even though you know it's going to be the worst thing in the world and they're going to reject you. And no matter what, you're going to come out feeling worse, but you like that little anxiety rush right before you dial that last digit. And it's kind of like that plea, like, you know, carry me home, And even though I feel terrible right now, I'd do it all again for you. Much, you know. I mean, those are like all our friends kind of drawn in there secretly. I mean, only they know it.
Yeah.
But that's basically it. You know, it's kind of like watching your life go by you, and you can't do that. You know, and waiting on someone to carry you home. And honestly, I think we just sped it up a little bit, and we added a little chick, like little.
When we recorded Let's Get Married, we tried to make it as similar to the old version as possible. Just made it sound more full.
Just beefed it up.
And kind of just, we wanted to keep it the same so that fans still have like that connection to that same song that they loved at the beginning. So we tried to keep it the same as possible.
You know, the funny thing about that song is that I was in a basement when I was recording it, and we just recorded this stuff for fun. Like, we never planned on it being anything. This was just something for a little outlet because I didn't like what I was doing in my other project. And I had already written 2 songs, laid them down. This was the 3rd track I laid down. We would just go to my friend's house, we would drink, and it would just be like a night to us. You know, we didn't go to bars. We don't really like do. We did some crazy stuff. But you know, like, but we drank and we just had a good time. And it was like we were campfires and all that kind of stuff that summer. We laid down this song, and I'll never forget it, man. I lay it down, and I was writing about this like character within myself. I'm sorry if this goes beyond the scope of your answer, or your question, but we're laying down this song, and I come in the basement, and my friend JoJo, he's down there, and I go, yo, dude, I just wrote in this song that, you know, the character Archie, which is myself that I keep writing about, he gets married. So my friend hugs me, as if like our own friend just got engaged. Writing this song, and I lay it down, and all of a sudden I'm like, you know, this song needs a chick. And my sister is the one that got me into singing. So I call her up, and I'm like,
I was young.
You were, she's 4 years younger than
I was 14, I think, at the time that we recorded the first demo of Let's Get Married, and he called me and he was like, I need you to come here and lay this down. And I didn't want to.
She was like, I'm going to the mall right now. So I'm like, no, seriously. And I told, because we had a bunch of friends there, and I'm like, no, guys, I hear this girl in the background going, let's just get married. And they're like, dude, that's gonna sound terrible. I'm like, no, I promise you. So she doesn't want to come. I had to call my mom up. I'm like, get her over here. Tell her you're going to the mall, and then take Algonquin and get to my friend's house. She comes, lays this thing down, and like ever since then,
one take, and then Archie Star really wasn't anything.
It was just one take.
One take, and all of a sudden we're like, we're gonna do this together. And I was 14, and he was 18, and we were like, that's it, and we stuck together ever since. Pretty much because of Let's Get Married.
We started working together. Ever since I heard her voice on that, it was just song after song. And then she developed into her own, and some songs like I write, and I love them to death, but I'm like, you gotta sing this. You're like, you have it down. And the thing is, this project has been formed so well with Juice and with Slatter and with Chris, and we all have a good sense of the music, and they actually care about what the lyrics are. And I care about what they're playing, and we give each other our space. And the reason she's been so good with working with me is because she's my best friend. And on top of it, like, she's the one I call when things get bad. So she knows the stories before she sings them, and when she sings them on the other side of it, she knows what she's supposed to be feeling when she's singing it, which I always found kind of cool. So, sorry for answering.
So, we really hope the fans like the new demo.
The new versions of the old song.
I hope it answered your question about everything I said. Awesome, man.
Sorry about the lengthy answers.
Yeah, gonna work on that.
Yeah.
For all your future interviews with big magazines like AP and yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for
taking us into consideration.
So much.
Thank you. It was nice to meet you guys.
Yeah. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks again, man.
Hey, thanks, man.
You guys are great.
Watch my eyes, oh babe, I promise that I'll never